Today on Forbes, Sergey Brin's $2 billion quest to tackle Parkinson's, bipolar disorder, and now autism. On March 26, 2024, Nicole Shanahan stepped onto the national stage as Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s vice presidential running mate. On that day, and in many later public comments, Shanahan shared details of her young daughter's autism diagnosis, tying it to a vaccination she received as an infant. There is no evidence that vaccines cause autism, but Shanahan, describing herself as a, quote, autism mom, broadcast that debunked theory throughout her 5-month VP campaign. On a podcast a day after accepting the nomination, Shanahan said, quote, "My daughter has lifted the veil for me. If we're talking about my support for Bobby Kennedy, that is what has brought me to this movement, financially, spiritually, and perhaps other ways." Far from the campaign trail, her ex-husband and daughter's father, Google co-founder Sergey Brin, has never spoken publicly about their child or Shanahan's beliefs. Yet in early 2022, members of his philanthropy team began to explore ways to help. After more than 2 years of planning and nearly $50 million in funding for autism research to date, Brin is launching a new initiative called Aligning Research to Impact Autism, or ARIA, that will fund research into what causes autism, as well as therapies for it. The long-term budget for the project hasn't been finalized, but will greatly exceed what's been spent so far, according to a person familiar with Brin's philanthropy strategy. Its first program, called the Impact Network, aims to link a group of autism care centers and affiliated researchers who will collaborate and coordinate on clinical trials. Applications to join the network are set to open in the next few months. Brin's focus on autism is his latest effort to direct the bulk of his substantive philanthropic giving to conditions that affect the central nervous system, or CNS, all organized under an umbrella called the CNS Quest, according to Ekamini Riley, who is a PhD in molecular medicine and helps lead the CNS Quest initiatives. Much of Brin's initial giving emphasized the basic science behind Parkinson's disease, starting more than a decade ago, and bipolar disorder in 2022, as Forbes previously reported. While Brin hardly ever talks to the press and keeps his life private, all 3 conditions, Parkinson's, bipolar disorder, and autism, have affected members of his family. His mother, who was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease more than 2 decades ago, died in December at age 76. In 2010, Brin also disclosed in a rare interview that he has a higher risk of getting Parkinson's due to a genetic mutation that his mother also had. Brin, the 7th richest person in the world, wrote in an email to Forbes, quote, "This work is personal because it starts with Parkinson's disease, and I carry one of the genetic mutations discovered, the G2019S mutation to the LRRK2 gene. This work led to the discovery of a new GBA1 gene variant that increases the risk of Parkinson's disease in people of African ancestry. I'm optimistic about similar discoveries that will improve care for people with bipolar disorder and autism." Of Brin's nearly $900 million in philanthropic grants last year, nearly double his 2023 giving, and a quarter of his $3.9 billion in lifetime charitable giving, about half went to causes related to CNS Quest. Brin has also started backing startups and venture capital funds of late that are working on for-profit solutions and treatments, investing more than $600 million to date, including about $400 million in 2024 alone. While any profits will be reinvested or donated to nonprofits, it's another way to push progress. Brin has already spent $1.75 billion on research of Parkinson's, a devastating degenerative disease that affects 10 million people globally, more than any other single person. He's one of just a few people globally who's donated that much toward one disease. Others include Bill Gates, Melinda French Gates, and Warren Buffett toward polio eradication, and the late real estate billionaire Harry Helmsley and his wife Leona toward type 1 diabetes. For full coverage, check out Phoebe Lou's piece on forbes.com. This is Kieran Meadows from Forbes. Thanks for tuning in.